Hello and welcome to the Franchise Fantasy Show, Week 11. No Byron this week, but we are joined by a familiar face of Adam. It's the first time you've done a show with the guys, so there might be a little bit stick coming your way. I expect there to be a little bit of stick coming your way. We'll see. As you do,
I don't really see why there would be. I don't know what reason they could possibly have. So,
you get mentioned every single week within the show. I think we have an Adam section, so
we don't need an excuse to terrorise people on this show.
And as usual, joined by Tinch and Johnny. There is three of us in this league. We're getting 3 weeks away from the playoffs. There is three of us currently sat in playoff positions, and one of us not. Tinch, that was you. I did say don't come back on the show this week unless you get a win,
mate.
Is that why we haven't?
I did a win.
I did a
win. That might be. No, didn't Johnny lose? I thought
I lost. I lost to Freddie, and it was
get out.
You guys all wanted me to lose until you realised that I was playing Freddie.
Off.
And the support just came too late.
Off.
So.
Bit disappointed in you, mate. It's not good news. Things aren't looking so great for you, Adam. You started off really strong. You've been at the top. You've been sat like near the top of the league. You're now just off of the wooden spoon, the Sacco. What's gone wrong?
Well, I did tell you about 2 weeks ago. It's just you and me. I did say that my team's not going to win anything. So that's why. No, injuries, bye weeks, and just crap players. So
I thought you were the key instigator of looking into the future of bye weeks and things like that, and making sure that you've done trades to complement those upcoming weeks. Are you telling me it's all been bullshit?
Yeah, basically that is what it's been, and I will continue to bullshit my way through it. So yeah,
fake it till you make it, bro.
Nice little pick up with Christian Watson for you this week, though. Surely that's helped you out a treat.
Yeah, that's helped me out. So hopefully that'll do well. Didn't help the Packers out enough. Not really a shocker there, but yeah. So hopefully that helped. I was a little surprised that no one else went for him.
I was gonna, but I just haven't got any room on my team. I had to pull people off of IR as well. So
your team's just so good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm 5-5. It's that good. It's average.
Averages.
Tinch, you finally got yourself a win. You finally managed to secure one.
It's been a hard 3 weeks, I will admit.
You think this is the push now that you're going to get into the playoffs, or was it?
Do you want to know what I think or the reality of the situation?
I want both.
Well, I think, yes, I'm going to win the league. Reality of the situation is, no, it's probably my last win in the season. No, it's not looking awful, but...
Getting to this point of the season, I know 2 weeks ago, I thought this in my head. I was like, what if I win the Sacco?
It's a scary It's always a scary possibility. You can be like this point of the season. You could be where you are, and you could still have a twitchy bum all time.
As someone that's won it, honestly, it's not that bad. Don't worry.
Well, this year the punishment.
No, you're just so used to it. It doesn't feel so bad to you anymore.
Get used to it.
I will not, Saka.
Johnny, as you said, you lost to Freddie. You got to be feeling pretty upset about that.
Yeah, it was a rough one. I mean, it was always going to be a tricky week because it was my quarterback bye week, which I kind of seen come in. I hadn't really been proactive enough about trading for a quarterback, so I was left to pick up whatever scraps were left off the waivers.
And if you remember last week, Andrew openly admitted he was actively trying to screw you over at the quarterback position.
I do remember.
That's not.
No, I did hear.
I believe.
Go back and watch that podcast. You would openly admit to actively screwing him at the quarterback position.
It's not screwing him over. It's just good tactics, isn't it?
It was bury your opponent that's around your position in the league.
You should have been helping him because he was against Fred.
Yeah.
Equally, Johnny is 5-5 and I am 5-5.
Yeah, I get it.
One of us has got to move down a slot.
Yeah, someone's got to go.
You know, I didn't want it to be me.
Fair enough, I guess.
I respect it.
let's have a quick chat about the trade that you did last week, Tinch. You traded Geno Smith for Trevor Lawrence, and you traded Josh Reynolds for Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Both Reynolds and Allen didn't play. You didn't play Trevor Lawrence. What was the thinking behind it?
I just fancied a bit of Keenan Allen because I was looking a bit soft at wide receiver, and then Byron was and ahhing about it. So he was like, "What about Geno Smith for Trevor Lawrence?" I was like, "Well, I've got Jimmy G sat about, so it's not." Yeah, I wasn't worried about my quarterback position.
But Geno Smith's a keeper, surely.
Yeah, no, he's gone now.
You didn't get much in return.
No, but I won my matchup without him, so.
Well, as I said, we've not got long till the playoffs. It is hotting up. So, are all of you feeling confident? Or, Tinch, you're obviously not.
Yes, stupid question.
I think
nobody's feeling confident.
I feel good. I'm 5-5. This is the best place I've ever been at this point in the season. So you know what? If I won the Sacco from here, whatever. I've got 5-5.
You'd still be happy. I was 5-5.
I'm currently at new heights. I've done what Adam bullshitted his way to do, and actually researched my bye weeks. I've actually looked ahead to the futures, viewed the matchups, not gone, oh, he's done well before, so he'll do well again this week, like I've done in season past. I've actually I've looked forward. I've had a much better season than seasons past. So yeah.
And what's incredible, it's only taken you 5 years to do all of that.
You have to figure it out. I'm getting there.
It's only taken for a well-known, great fantasy podcast to give you some advice and finally push you through. I'll take it. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. I'm not feeling great about the end of my season. I looked forward and I looked at it. I had Adam, which I've just played. Then I've got Pirate Bay, Dak Street Boys.
Easy win.
And Freddie. And I'm feeling like I've looked at both the teams. I've got the 2 and 8 teams. How are they down there? Because I'm looking at them going, I'm not sure whether I'm going to beat them or not.
Yeah, I've got Pirate Bay this week, and I'm a bit...
You should be all right. He's got all of his players on bye week this week.
Yeah, but when I was first looking at it, I was like, this is not favourable, but they are all on bye weeks.
Yeah, it really is crazy. It really is crazy that we've managed to get to this point of the season and everybody's around the same scores. It makes it interesting.
I love it.
It's more exciting than previous years, I think.
I'm guessing there's a lot of people within the same position within their leagues, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can give them some advice and push them through and get them secured for the playoffs. So let's jump right into it and talk about the players that we like. As always, we start at the quarterback position. Adam says he's come prepared today. So Adam, let's hit us with it. Which is the quarterback week?
All of about 5 seconds of preparation. So the one that I'm going to go for, this is a fly by the seat of your pants pick. This is Russell Wilson is the quarterback that I'm going for this week, purely because he's up against Tinch's Raiders, and we all know how amazing that defense is.
Mate, it's a fucking solid defense. We're incredible.
Yeah, it looks like it. Russell Wilson, I reckon he'll do all right. He struggled throughout most of the season, but the one game that he's actually played okay in happened to be against the Raiders. So I don't really see why he won't play okay this time. He's at home, like the matchup.
Who invited this chump on the podcast to come and just talk shit to me about the Raiders? Any opportunity you get as well.
Adam, it sounds like you've not heard the news about Russell Wilson calling the audibles from the Seahawks. Like, if that doesn't put you off playing Russell Wilson, nothing will. You're delusional.
Yeah, probably am. But if you want someone who's in a favourable matchup and you need to play someone, Russell Wilson is the one this week.
So you're saying if all other options are out,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you need someone, then I mean, I'm not saying he's the best choice in like the whole league. I mean, there's going to be lots.
What you're saying is don't play Russell
What do you want me?
Wilson.
Do you want me to say Josh Allen? Do you want me to say Patrick Mahomes? Is this where we're going?
I
with
hear
it?
they're always a good option.
No,
and
I wouldn't play either of those. They're trash.
Well, I'm going to weigh in now, guys.
Can we have some sensibleness, please? Now,
Some sensibleness. There's been a lot of buzz around social media for Russell Wilson this week. There's a lot of the pros out there tipping him to have a bit of a bounce back, and it really clicked for him this week. I thought that every week when I had him in my team, and as I spoke to Freddie about this, his stats haven't been that bad, but I just don't see. I see an average game from him. I think he's just going to be around that 15, 17 mark points. And at this point in the season, I'm just not sure if that's enough. I think you need to go boom or bust and go for one of those dual threat players. And Russell Wilson just hasn't been dual threat enough for me. When the likes of Daniel Jones are still on people's waivers and he's going up against the Detroit Lions, I just think there's more value there. But if you just want a steady 15 to 17 points, I think Russell Wilson will get that for you. So
it's good for steady points.
He should be getting more, and this should be the favourable matchup. I had disappointment from him in the past, but there's a lot of buzz about him this week as a must start for a bounce back. So I see where you're coming from.
That's more to do with the Raiders being shit, though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's what we're talking about. It's about the matchup and the weekly matchups. So.
Any opportunity Adam gets.
I mean, I'm gonna put out there. You've just heard me say it's Daniel Jones for me this week. I think against the Detroit Lions. Team's looking a bit healthier as well. There's potential that Golladay might be back on that. Slayton seems to be really clicking with him now. He's fully fit. Seems to be working a bit more with throwing the ball rather than just pure Saquon. So, I think Daniel Jones is a must start against the Lions, which have just give up points to quarterbacks for fun, don't they? And we saw what Fields did with his legs against them. I think Jones could get in there with a rushing touchdown as well.
Can I throw a name out there and just see,
as long as it's a quarterback,
who's likely, if anyone, to take a punt in either this week or next week on Deshaun Watson coming back and being absolutely phenomenal, because I believe he's got this week and next week left on suspension. He started practicing with the team. Is that someone that people are going to be looking to? No.
A straight up no for Tinch.
Not a fan of nonsense. Okay.
No.
I genuinely.
I hope no one's a fan of nonsense, really.
Other nonsense.
Well, yeah, apart from other nonsense. But yeah, it's a big no from me.
I genuinely looked at picking him up and stashing him away on my reserves, because you can actually put suspended players on your reserve. But unless you're using him against the Texans, I think the matchups aren't quite there for me compared to the players I've already got on my team. And I also thought, should I put it out there that he should just be banned from being picked up just out of principle from a standard?
Yes, he should.
He
should be banned from the NFL.
The league didn't ban him for a full year, but maybe we can ban him for a full year.
I think we should ban him for a full year.
Adam, what's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? He shouldn't get any airtime, but what's his thoughts? What's your thoughts?
I don't think I'll be picking him up. Let's put it that way. I don't think there's much. I mean, the other thing is he hasn't played in how long? That's the other thing, and you want him to make an immediate sort of like impact on your team. I think if you're really desperate and really struggling for a quarterback, maybe, but I would have thought you'd be able to find some better ones out there. So I think I'll pass. Yeah,
I would like to think that you've got contingency plans for the 3 weeks ahead of you already with the people you've got on your team, rather than gambling. You've got to be in a sad state. Maybe one of the guys at the bottom of the league will take a punt. I don't know.
I think you've got to be in a bad situation.
You sure you don't want it? You're down there somewhere, aren't you? Out of that.
I'd rather win the Sacco than Deshaun Watson, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
At least we're staying strong on keeping him banned. Tinch, is there anybody you like this week? Are you
Do you
just
think
Uh,
anyone actually will pick him up in this league?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think so.
We're banning him. I think he should be banned. Get that message in that group chat.
Should we have a vote here? Should he be banned from people picking him up?
Yes.
I think that the NFL always does the right thing every time, and if they let him play, then we should let him.
All
Sorry.
nonce lovers, the lot of you.
I couldn't even get it all the way out without laughing. No, we should ban him.
Someone's on the payroll, I reckon. That's what's going on there.
Oh,
We should
100%.
boycott Watson.
Cancel Watson.
Cancel Watson.
Fine by me. I don't
There
care.
you go.
The podcast has spoken.
Right, Tinch, are you just telling us Jimmy G? Then is that your?
Yeah.
Get Geno
It's
Smith.
funny that I did just actually click on him by accident as you said that. But yeah, I think I will be playing him this week, and I quite like him in his matchup this week as well against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it's.
So I think
Oh,
get a
we've
few
had
points
another. We've
down.
had another vote in. Another
Oh.
vote from someone within the league. I'm in agreement that he should be boycotted from Freddie.
Yes.
That's five votes.
At
Five
least
votes.
we know Freddie has morals.
I'm in agreement with rarely, but I'm in agreement with Tinch here that Jimmy G's a start for this week. I think he hovers around that sort of 16 to 18 mark every week, but this matchup
It looks nice for him.
looks good for him to get over that 20 plus. So like I
And
was
we know
saying
that
about-
McCaffrey likes a bit of a cash.
Yeah, like we were saying about the Russell
sometimes,
Wilson one of not taking the gamble on a 15-pointer. I think Jimmy G's a 20-pluser this week, so I take the gamble there, even if he doesn't quite make it. So let's bring up this guy because he's a great quarterback, but it doesn't seem to be working. I will talk about something else after it. Derek Carr going up against the Broncos. Are we out on him? Are we sitting him? Or
He plays for the Raiders.
Still worth putting him?
You say this. What did he put up last week? Well, he didn't put up bad points last week, though, did he?
Raiders, though, innit?
Yeah. I get it. Let me find him.
Conversation. Done.
I don't even know who's got him.
What's he averaging? Is he averaging like 11
About
points?
3.
10? Is he averaging 10? Anyway.
Josh Jacobs is running that team, so...
Okay, so he put up 17 points last week and 18 the week before, and then a terrible game against the Saints, then 13 before that, 18, 11, 19, 18, 13. It's not... There's QBs scoring a less average than Derek
But
Carr.
he's going up against the Broncos this week, and the Broncos team is winning games because their defense is so good.
Yes, they got a strong defense. I think it's going to be probably around a 13-point mark this week, based on who we're playing.
This leads me into a bit of non-fantasy chat, but just quickly around the table, do you think that they should trade Carr away and get a new quarterback for next season?
I'm undecided on this as of yet, because he has proven quite valuable at times in his career. He's not a bad quarterback at all. I think the main issue is the fucking O-line, which I said at the beginning of the season, and they've done nothing about it.
Where you're going to be picking in the draft, you could get one of the big name quarterbacks.
No, this is why I'm the jury's out on this one for me. Yeah,
Adam.
To be honest, I don't really know whether you'd get rid of Carr or
I don't
not.
really care.
No, there is that as well. But I'm not sure whether. How long has he got left on his contract? Does anyone know? No.
I don't know. Don't look at me. I don't know how long his contract is.
He's not. Look, if you want to change anything, I don't think it's going to be with Derek Carr sort of thing. I don't think that's going to solve any problems for you. But at the same time, as Tinch said, if you just change the quarterback, that's not going to help either. So there's a lot more problems there. So yeah, I don't know really. He's okay, but
he's not a bad quarterback by any means. There's far worse.
Yeah, I think he's a great quarterback. I just think he could hit restart and just completely change the whole culture there, like some of the other teams have done.
But if we need to do that, like Adam said, there's a lot more to work on there.
I think I think that it's O-line and the fact that he's not had Waller for most of the season as a solid safety valve. You know, he can play really, really well in fantasy. He can score some big points. He's a good quarterback, but there's just something missing in front of him that's causing him to not be able to play to his potential. So I don't think he's the issue. But equally, he's been there a really long time, so you never know. Maybe they will.
He was drafted there, wasn't he?
If they get some good value for him, maybe you could get in there and just go after
somebody else might be in a position.
After Bryce Young and Will Anderson, and you sorted. So you got an edge rusher and a quarterback. Job done. Right, back into fantasy advice. Onto the running backs. Let's go back in reverse. Johnny, who are you bringing to the table?
My pick would be Rachaad White at Tampa Bay.
That was my one.
Well, I beat you to it, so suck out. We've got them against.
I've got to find another one now.
We've got them against the Seahawks. I think I watched most of their game the other week, and he looked real good. I think he's playing against a Seahawks team, which, according to the stats, is not that fantastic at stopping the run, or at least running back score highly. Adam looks like he's going to disagree with me, so make me look like a knob on camera. Go on.
No. I think that's a very good pick. Unfortunately, they're not playing this week.
Nah.
It's all right. I once picked a player who played the day before we did the podcast. Don't worry about it, mate.
You're good at picking 30 players.
I've only done it once.
I think, I'm not 100%, but I'm going to go that the Bucks are on bye.
The Bucks are on a bye week because
they played in Germany against the Seahawks last week.
What did he say?
At least I didn't call Rashard Penny Robert Penny.
But
everything you said was correct. So
when did they play the Seahawks then? Where have I got this from?
Well, they played them last week.
You're a week late, bro.
Johnny, right. Turn the page on your notes. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you've got last week.
You need to be on week 11.
If it helps, I've got a great lineup on the receivers, so come back to me, all right?
Is that for this week or last week?
This
Chris
week,
Godwin.
100%. If you guys chat among yourselves, I'm going to double check my wide receivers are all actually playing this week.
Tinch, you said, look, quote this.
Shush! No, we're not revisiting this. I did say that was mine.
Why have you chose him? That's who I chose. Mate, hang on 1 sec. I just need to do this.
You know what I say? This is what I chose.
I just need to do this. 1 sec.
Going.
There we go. We've got rid of him.
No, when I said that was my pick, that was me just going through earlier. They went, "Oh yeah, he looks good." I actually did no research on him.
Adam, please restore some order. Surely you've got someone down in your notes that's worth. Are you?
No, because he just said Russell Wilson for starting him at QB this week.
Fair point.
Nonsense.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to come up with people who are maybe not so obvious. So, running back, Brian Robinson for the Washington Commanders. He's going up against the Texans. That's all you need to know. The Texans suck against the run. There, done.
I prefer Antonio Gibson this week.
Gibson's there. Gibson picked up an injury, though, didn't he, in the last game?
Last week.
Not got any injury designation or
Has he not?
anything like that.
Okay.
No.
I'm in on Robinson.
Robinson tends to be the guy who gets most of the workload, and also he gets the goal line work. So
we said last week we discussed whether we were in or out on Robinson and whether he can bounce back, because he did take a bit of a backseat after he came in and looked good. And I said it had only taken 1 good week for them to be back all in on him, and he performed well last week. So I'm in on him having a great game against the Texans. I think they'll use him based on what he did. So,
but Gibson had a good game as well, and they know that he's solid. So I think they're still going to probably mix it up still quite nicely.
They like to use Gibson as a returner, so I just think that Gibson will be in the mix. But Robinson will be the running back. Gibson will be the returner. Gibson will come in for a bit of the mix. I like Adam's call on that one. I've got a guy for you to discuss. Had a very, very poor week last week. It shocked a lot of people. Is he back to full fitness? Is there something wrong there? Or should people be getting on and getting Cordarrelle Patterson back in their team against the Bears this week? because when he's back to what he was before his injury, surely he's scoring loads. But are we taking the risk based on what happened last week?
He's 2 weeks off injury. He had a great game coming back. Possibly a bit of a slow game for him the week after. He could have been straight off an injury and into a big game. Recovery time could have been a bit longer. He could have, do you know what I mean? A bit worn out for the second week back. So I think he's a bounce back player this week and getting some big points in again. Take the risk.
Johnny?
I have zero opinion on this. I looked at their running back situation, and they've got, is it Algier? How you say it? They've got him. I think if there is even a slight injury risk coming into these later games in the season, we're over that midway hump, coming into that crunch time where playing colder games, there might be, colder, wetter games, there might be a little bit more reliance on the running back. If there's any injury risk at all, I don't see them risking him, and I don't think he'll get as many carries potentially as you would like if you picked him up. So if you have got another option, probably take it. But he's, if he's fit, he's never a bad shout.
Adam?
I think he's the best running back on the team. The Bears are 28th against the run when it comes to the amount of yards that they throw, that they give away. They're actually worse when they're away, which I think they are. So, yeah, I think Patterson should do pretty well. But I do agree with what Johnny says about the injury. It is a little bit of a concern on him. But, I mean, they're still in the mix, aren't they, for that division? Because they're only one game off. So I think because of that, they'll probably wheel him out and try and get him to do the most. So, yeah, I'd put him in.
Well, I am putting him in. He's on my team.
Yeah, we know that you're just asking for your own team. We know what's going on here.
I mean, I feel like he's a guy that people need to know what they want to do with him. I mean, I already know what I'm doing. That's fine. Let's talk about the Rams. Henderson's been the guy. I think Freddie traded for him, picked him up, did all right, but the run game seems to be done there. No one seems to be doing anything. Henderson's not doing anything. Cam Akers isn't doing anything. Will we see anything from Kyren Williams? I don't know. Are you out on all of them, guys, or are you backing any of them? And what do you think? Do you think Kyren Williams can take that number one spot?
I think they're all trash and they've not done anything all season. I said it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm not looking in the direction of the Rams for the
run game is just atrocious over there at the moment, it seems.
If a team can't put it together, a lot of the time it's not the player, it's the O-line, it's the play calling. It's not necessarily always this, one player is not capable. Just like what we discussed with Derek Carr earlier. Should they move on from Derek Carr, it's not maybe his fault. If the running backs are all struggling, I mean, Cam Akers, I remember you talked about him when he came into the league, Andy, and you were so hot on him and said that he's going to be this, he's going to be that. And I think he did well. He had a big injury.
And then he tore his ACL, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a big injury, but he's shown flashes of really high quality, but something's amiss there. So I would stay away from it just as a position group at that team.
Yeah, completely agree. Wouldn't go near any of them. I think Kyren Williams will get involved more because Cam Akers has just been frozen out, hasn't he? Really. So I think because of that, you'll see Williams get involved. There's not really anyone on that team that I'm particularly interested in apart from Higbee. That's it. I think he's the only one who's going to get a load of targets now that Cup's gone. So.
Yeah, I think we might see a bit more from Williams just from the fact that he's a catching back, so maybe he might get used a bit more now. Cup's gone, might need to look at something different, but I'd steer away from that. So, we don't talk about tight ends, but Higbee's a guy for you to start this week. Funny enough, he's on your team. We just plug in your players. Johnny looks like when we move on to the wide receivers, he's going to say Allen Robinson. Is that?
No, I've got three.
Oh.
I've got three. I'm prepped just in case someone said my first choice.
Just in case you said Chris Godwin with your first one.
Yeah, that's going to be a running joke. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As we are at the Rams, I will jump to the bottom of my list and talk about Van Jefferson. He's not had a crazy high-scoring season, but when you're playing with Cooper Kupp, you're never going to have, your a high share of the targets. With him going on injured reserve, Van Jefferson's more likely to be available in a lot more leagues. So as a available pick, someone that most people will be able to go out and get, I think he's a definite option if you think that the Rams are going to be able to do anything against the New Orleans defense.
Probably not.
That's the only. It's one of those. You get a number. You might be getting a number one, maybe number two receiver off the waivers. You don't have to drop any players or give any players away for that position. But it is the Rams, and they've not been fantastic all season. So,
I mean, you haven't got many weeks to do it. But if he is on your waivers, maybe stash Van Jefferson, because Freddie's asked, do you think this makes Van Jefferson's value go up? If it does, then you can use him in a trade. It would be if you're looking for something, if his value will go up. You're going to sell him high, aren't you? If you're getting rid of him, so yeah, of course his value goes up with everyone's value goes up there, really, doesn't it? Without Kupp, they've got to distribute it somewhere, because 90% of the time it goes Kupp's way. So, Tinch, who are you locking in for your wide receiver?
There's a couple of Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers who may be some value this week, which would be Mr. Valdes-Scantling and Mecole Hardman. Sorry, not Mecole Hardman.
Hardman's out, isn't he?
He's injured.
I didn't mean him. Kadarius Toney. With Mecole Hardman being out, and you've got Juju Smith-Schuster, who went out with a concussion last week, was it?
Yep.
The potential for, their value this week's obviously up, and Scander's value, we've seen him do some. I've just put his name completely back.
Let's call him MVS, mate. MVS is
MVS. I went scan. Oh my God, words. MVS. We've seen him do stuff at other teams. Was it Green Bay? Was he?
Yeah, he was.
He was fairly solid there actually when he played. So I think he might be a good pickup if you're struggling at the wide receiver position this week.
I love Kadarius Toney. Gutted that it didn't work out for him at the Giants. Said to Nathan, because Nathan picked him up in the draft, just been stashing him away. I went, mate, now he's gone to the Chiefs. Inside knowledge, there was nothing wrong with him. It was all fake. He's not actually injured. Get him in your team straight away. Don't wait on him to see whether he's going to be good or not. Because it'd be good.
He's the one who tweeted about not actually being injured.
Yeah,
it was, wasn't it?
So, he's going to be used in all sorts of different types of plays. We know that he can definitely be used in wildcat plays and things like that. And we've seen flashes of like a Swiss Army knife player. So, Kadarius Toney for me, he's got to be a star, definitely.
And the Chiefs love all that sort of stuff as well. They are a big team for those, those trick plays. Just that unusual stuff. A lot of inside, you see it all the time, the inside shovel passes to the tight end. You got wide receivers throwing touchdown passes, all that sort of stuff. They love it. And he was actually the number one on my list of 3. So let's see if someone else says the second one.
Adam?
So mine's the same game, just on the other side. So I'm going for the Chargers wide receivers. The reason being is that the Chiefs are ranked 32nd against giving up touchdowns. As we saw, some wide receivers, even Christian Kirk scored touchdowns last week, you see. So,
as well. And
it's going to be a bit of a game time decision, because obviously it depends who's going to be there. It depends if Keenan Allen's there or not. Mike Williams probably won't be. But the one that I do like is DeAndre Carter. If he's fit and he's okay, he's the explosive play. You saw it last week.
Is he on your team as well?
It's funny that you think he's good.
Yes, he's on my team. I picked him up.
But you have Josh Palmer for DeAndre Carter.
I did. So Palmer is the other one. So both of them could be good plays. Really, it's just going against the Chiefs' defense because it's not because the Chiefs' defense is bad. It's just that they give up they score so many points. The opposition have to throw the ball. So,
Yeah.
Points.
They look like it. I'm going to have a guess I'm going to try and guess Johnny's other one. I'm guessing that Johnny has had a look who's injured and then saw who's got value due to someone being injured and say that his other guy is Rondell Moore must start against the 49ers now Zach Ertz is out.
Don't tell us. Let's play a guessing game.
If we discuss tight ends, then Trey McBride might have been someone that I mentioned.
Well, I would start Rondell Moore. I think he fills in that sort of slot area, sort of where a tight end would be on the field to receive the ball. He tends to be catching there. For a small guy, he's pretty tough in those situations. So I think he might see a lot of action against the 49ers. And they haven't got Marquise Brown yet. He's Hollywood Brown's still out. So for another week until the bye, but he might come back after the bye week. Fingers crossed. Right, there's some for me. There's some big names I'm concerned about this week, and they're guys that would be a must start usually. Let's get your take on it. Would you start any of these guys? It's Deontay Johnson against the Bengals, Devonta Smith against the Colts, and Adam Thielen against the Cowboys. What's your thoughts on these guys? They're tough matchups. Obviously, the Vikings have now got Hawkinson, seems to be getting involved more. Would you be keen on starting these guys that are usually must starts, or
I'm least keen on Adam Thielen out of the three? Just because you said Hop's there, it's a tough matchup.
Deontay Johnson against the Bengals,
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Smith against the Colts, Adam Thielen against the Cowboys. Just three guys that I think have got tough matchups. And usually they're must start. They're high profile wide receivers, but I just think they could struggle this week.
I think Smith is not a bad one to go for because Goddard's out. I think that means that they're going to have to throw the ball more to him. The Colts are pretty good against the run. Not amazing, but pretty good, which might slow down like Sanders and Hurts. So I think they're going to have to throw the ball a bit more.
That would have been
I think
play him.
Because of that, Smith, I think, is probably the one that I'd go for. Who did you say Deontay Johnson's playing? It's Kenny Pickett. No, not Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I also
about my team then.
I also think the explosive player on that team is going to be Pickens, isn't it? He seems to be making the athletic catches, the points that might secure you over Deontay Johnson just being there to get the receptions and move the sticks. I don't think he's been used as much in his explosive play. So
he hasn't, and it reflects in his fantasy score on my team.
Mm-hmm. Right. Questions, Adam? We've had loads, haven't we?
My phone just kept on. It was ridiculous. I don't know what was wrong with these people.
Let's do all the questions.
We got loads.
We're obviously just give great advice.
Fantasy gurus.
Well, I don't know about
that.
Definitely not why you get loads of questions.
Fake it till you make it.
If you have the king of the Sacco on your show, you're not getting.
Stop admitting to it, and we might get some more questions.
I'm great at fantasy football. I look ahead.
Did you want me to ask them? Is that how we're doing?
You've got them in front of you, mate. I haven't.
Right. Okay. So Dave has asked. You got to start two of these: Kadarius Toney, Drake London, or Josh Palmer.
Ooh.
Kadarius Toney, Josh Palmer.
I'm saying you could start two.
Yeah.
Drake London, Kadarius Toney.
Who are the Falcons got this week?
We've already discussed Toney being a must-start Swiss Army knife.
Tony's definitely it. Who are the Falcons got this week?
And I like London's matchup, and he got a lot more involved last week, and they seem to be more keen to throw the ball. So, I think it goes to London over Pitts at the moment. So, they're the two for me.
Depending on who starts Palmer, but
John Bisham has asked, what's a realistic wide receiver basically he's got Cooper Cup, so he needs someone to replace him. To trade for, he's got Lamar Jackson, Tua, or Justin Fields. So
Who the fuck's carrying 3 quarterbacks?
Someone very clever. He's obviously, Justin Fields was on the waivers in their league because he was on a lot of waivers recently. He's picked him up sheerly to stock him away and trade him. So I think you could get pure value on Justin Fields, surely, if you wanted to. I think you could go
any
after
team number 2. Any team's number 2 for someone that if someone needs a quarterback and they've got any solid number 2, number 2 receiver, then you can probably get one, especially if they are in need of a quarterback. I would look ahead to who's got a quarterback that's still yet to have a bye week,
and then try and trade them Justin Fields for their top wide receiver.
But he wants to know who to go after, doesn't he? What wide receiver?
Yeah, what wide receiver is realistic for him to get?
Any team second.
I think you could go for a low end first. I think you could get real high profiled wide receiver for that. The value of Justin Fields scoring back to back over
40 points.
Yeah, I think he's got a good couple of run of games. I take a look at who's got bye weeks because teams have still got bye weeks. So I think you want to be avoiding. I think Colts are week 14, aren't they? I think
Packers are 14.
Packers. I think Saints haven't had their bye week yet. So yeah, I think you have a look at what wide receivers have already had their bye week. I think the Eagles have had theirs. So maybe if you might be able to get AJ Brown. I don't know. People depends what other people have got, aren't they, Johnny?
Can I make an out there suggestion that's slightly morally questionable?
Go on.
If you say Deshaun Watson, mate.
He's going to Deshaun Watson.
Pick up Deshaun Watson and trade him in 2 weeks' time. No. Potentially, if you have someone in your league that's maybe, I don't know, like me a couple of seasons ago, if you tell them that you're going to trade them Lamar Jackson, play Justin Fields, don't trade him away, play him, he's going to score you points, trade Lamar Jackson for a bigger name. I think if someone like me is gonna someone that's
you're gonna lap that up.
I'm like, you know what? Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's on the cover of Madden. I'll take him for anyone. I'm just saying you could trade rape with those options.
2020 Johnny.
Just saying, it's an option.
Cool.
Go on.
We done on that one? Yeah. Right. Russ Hoffner has asked, should he trade Devonta Foreman for David Montgomery?
No.
No.
It's a ridiculous thing.
Fuck no.
Next.
Okay. All right.
Are you a yes?
Well, Khalil Herbert's gone on IR.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he's a yes. It's a 3-against-1. So next question.
Montgomery loses his points to Fields, doesn't he?
True. Right. John Doe has asked, Pittman or probably not. Pittman or Olave rest of season in PPR?
They've both got bye weeks left. Olave, he's been
Olave
consistent
over Pittman
every single game.
Pittman's been hit and miss all season.
Yeah,
right.
Situation over there is not good.
He's available.
Saul Goodman has asked, who's a good waiver wire tight end to replace Dallas Goedert?
Foster Moreau.
Stop saying Foster Moreau.
Mate, he's good for points, bro. It's just a shame he's a Raider.
2 options. Isaiah Likely, if you need someone this week, because obviously Andrews could make a comeback at any point in the next couple of weeks. Or, as I mentioned earlier, Trey McBride is going to be in for the rest of the season. He is a rookie, a little bit untested, but he will be a starting tight end and is more than likely available in most leagues.
He's probably more likely for points, isn't he? As coming straight in as a starter.
Yeah, we'll see.
How big's his league? I mean, the likes. I'm just trying to think who's recently been on still available. I think Higby's been available in some people's leagues, isn't he?
Who is?
Wasn't Tyler
Not in
Higgins's?
ours, but in
Well,
some
not
leagues.
ours, because we're a 14-man league.
Yeah.
There's nothing available in ours, tight end wise. I don't know.
Not even Foster Moreau. Fred's got him.
It's tough to give advice on who to waiver without knowing. So if that guy wants to hit us up with who's available, we'll get back to him after the show with which we think is the best choice.
Mm.
So Adam, if you want to drop him a message later, we'll get back to him.
Yeah. So Pope, probably not the Pope before you say, but
You
Pope
never know,
himself.
though, mate.
You never know. I
know.
mean, he's got an interesting picture if it is. That's all I'm saying. So you got to start someone for his flex: Damian Harris or Tyler Conklin.
Jesus.
He's not an option, Tinch.
Oh, sorry.
Conklin.
Yeah.
So what were the options? Conklin and
Damian Harris
Damian Harris
or Tyler Conklin.
Neither. See what else is available. I'm not convinced I'm starting either of them.
I was just going to flip a coin for that one. I won't lie to you.
It's a flex as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I bet there's some semi-decent wide receivers still on flex that could get you sort of 9-10 points.
You'd like to think so.
Right. Gallo has asked, do you start James Robinson or Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, we cleared that up earlier.
That's a done topic.
JB is asking, got offered Damian Pierce and Amon-Ra St. Brown for Christian McCaffrey. Should I take that?
Yes, deal. They're not using CMC as the main back, are they? Now Elijah Mitchell's back is taking more of the snaps, got more of the touches. They're using CMC quite
classic
aren't they?
Classic 49ers backfield.
And I think Damian Pierce is one of the most aggressive runners, and it doesn't matter who he plays, he gets fantasy points, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. I'd go for it.
100%.
I've just had a worrying thought.
Right, Lucy has asked, in a standard league, he's got to start one wide receiver. So you can have Josh Palmer, Jarvis Landry, or Terrace Marshall. What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Terrace? Yeah, Terrace Marshall.
I'm tempted to go Palmer out of that.
I think
best of a bad situation, really.
Yeah.
Marshall's been in the end zone the last 2 weeks, hasn't he?
Did you say Landry was an option?
So was Palmer?
Josh Palmer, Jarvis Landry, Terrace Marshall.
I'm in a Marshall.
Forget Marshall. Did you say standard league, not PPR?
Yeah, standard.
Landry. You're looking at the Chargers for their number one receiver's out. He's going to get touches if you're in PPR. If you're looking for, you're kind of hitting and hoping with those two options, and I would pick Landry for the touchdown points.
Okay. Mike has asked Justin Fields or Patrick Mahomes.
Where are the Bears this week?
What sort of 3-man league is he playing in where they're both available?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, but no one's drafting Justin Fields early, are they?
People could have picked him up 3 weeks ago on the waivers. Yeah. No one had him.
He's got to be gone by now.
Yeah, no, but he's asking who to play.
No, he's got him in his team. So who does he play?
I'd be inclined just to stick with Mahomes. Just safety.
It is safe, isn't it?
I mean, Justin Fields is a must start, isn't he? But
if you've got Patrick Mahomes, then
I wish I had that luxury. I mean,
Fields
is a must start this week. He is a must start.
This week, I was just trying to remind myself of the matchups. This week, you play him against Atlanta. Next week, I don't know, but this week, Justin Fields for sure.
Right, Jonesy 911. Bit of a long one. This one. I have Jefferson, Lamb, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, and Devin Duvernay for receivers. I only need 3, but want to put a package together for a top wide receiver like Diggs or Hill, but also would like to keep Jefferson and Lamb. What would the deal look like with those other wide receivers? So essentially, he wants to keep Jefferson and Lamb. Do you think that he could use T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, and Devin Duvernay as a package in some form in order to get Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, but I think anyone in his league won't be stupid enough to do that.
Depends what position you're in,
It
really.
does massively.
I think you could potentially. I think you could potentially get Hill or Waddle, which you could probably go in for one of them, just for sheer volume of what you're giving up. If I'd have a look at what position other people's teams in, whether they've got bye weeks, whether they could value on having multiple choices later down the line. Because at this stage of the game, it's worth giving up a big name if those other players will just push you into the playoffs. So yeah, check the matchups, and I think you could probably get 3 of them for one. Duvernay's not worth anything for me. He's on a good matchup. He's good, but the others have consistency. Ayuk's got consistency, so.
Okay, Austin Hayes has asked, would you trade Juju for Jeff Wilson? He's got Waddle, Jefferson, and Pittman on his team as well.
Well, Juju's out at the minute, isn't he? He's out this week.
He's out this week, yeah.
And there's a few more mouths to feed there. I'd probably go out on Juju. I'd maybe trade him.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson. I mean, he's on my team, and I think with obviously Juju's concussion now, if you can get that trade done, I'd be surprised. But if you can get it done, then you're getting a starting running back that's come in and made an impact in his first 2 weeks in the team. So
good running backs are hard to find. So
yeah, on a team that is kind of they're making a push for their number one spot this year over the Bills. They are pushing for that. So I think that Wilson's the guy over Juju all day, especially with the amount of options that when they're healthy, the Chiefs have got.
Okay, Willie Jack has asked, McLaurin, Debo, you fuckers. It was going so well.
We can
right, you got to pick 2. McLaurin, Debo, Palmer, or Pittman.
I missed all of this.
These professional podcasts.
Oh, they're so professional. I've just punched my dog in the face as well by accident. Didn't know it was there.
That's you banned.
I've just cancelled myself. For fuck's sake! I didn't actually punch him on. I tapped on the nose. I didn't realise it was there. Just to clear it.
Sorry, Adam.
You got to pick 2: McLaurin, Debo, Palmer, or Pittman.
Debo and Pittman.
Debo McLaurin.
Debo McLaurin.
Okay.
Next question then.
Fair enough.
Mate,
Oscar has asked, Amari Cooper, he has put in brackets in 6 foot of snow, but obviously that's not going to be happening. Or Cooks in a half-point redraft.
Cooper.
Leroy Charles has asked, should I trade Ramondre and Goodwin for AJ Dillon and Stephon Diggs? All PPR, and he's just lost Cup.
Who was the first player you listed there?
Ramondre Stevenson.
AJ Dillon is dead. AJ Dillon is scoring you no points, but Diggs is Diggs. That's one of those. It's where are you positioned? Like we just discussed the fact that a couple of good players might make up for one
big name
excellent player.
yeah.
But it depends where you're positioned. I would keep hold of Diggs if I was in that on that side of the trade.
In fairness, this one did get a reply from someone else from Bucks in 6 who came out and said,
Well, that's
No.
not right.
We
We answer the questions.
He
Thank
answered
you.
the same as us. Get him on. Get him on the show.
Yeah,
He might
get him
know more
on.
than these two.
right, Dave Anderson has asked Rondale Moore, Kadarius Toney, or Jacoby Myers.
Kadarius Toney.
There's Tony.
Tony or more. Take coin flip it. They're both score big this week. Get them both in.
Kemper Goering has come out and asked, do you start James Robinson or Kareem Hunt?
Oh.
I like Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm going Kareem Hunt. I think
Kareem Hunt.
James Robinson has the potential to get you 0.
Yeah.
So Kareem Hunt's always used at some point.
Has Chubb had injury issues?
No, he's just. I think they're worried about the snow that they're not playing
Is
it.
it?
Doesn't snow in Detroit, mate.
Well, yeah, Hunt's definitely the better backup.
It's a safer option, I think, in that situation.
Like Andy says, Robinson could do absolutely nothing. He could have 2 touches. So
You could do an Edwards Hilaire on you, mate. That wouldn't be very good, would it? Fucking 0 points, prick.
Okay, Stan Deadman has asked, do you pick Cordell
These
Patterson?
aren't real names.
They are. Don't ever go at me. Cordell Patterson, Devontae Foreman, or Kenyon Drake. One of them needs to start in his flex.
Cordell Patterson. We've already discussed it.
Oh, yeah. Good. No brainer.
Also, how many questions have we got left? It's supposed to be like half an hour to 45-minute
A
podcast.
few. I did tell you we had a load come in today. Don't
What
ever
we
go
on
at me.
this?
2.
Right, we got that one's no good because that was yesterday. Right,
Johnny be
Junior.
good for that one.
Junior has come out and asked Josh Allen, Foster Moreau, and Elijah Mitchell for Najee Harris, David Montgomery, Kyle Pitts,
No.
and Tom Brady.
No.
No.
That
No.
is trade rate. No.
That is bad.
All people that are actually tanking, like doing bad this year for good players. No.
No.
What they said. No.
That is utter nonsense.
Get that
So
bloke
Adam,
to,
that is a
reply to
trade
that
that
as well.
Adam would offer to someone.
That
We'd
is
have
an
to-
Adam
and we'd have to bring it up on the podcast just so people knew how dog shit it was.
Okay,
That's what we'll call him
Dennis.
now. It's not
Dennis,
trade
is that an
rate,
okay
it's
name
trade.
for you? Is Dennis an okay name for you?
Yeah, because that's a real name.
Okay, cool.
What was the last bloke
Den-
called? Stand.
Dennis has just lost Cup. Does he trade CMC and Tyler Boyd for Jacoby and Josh Jacobs?
I think that Josh Jacobs, although he is leading
No.
that team, is too high of a risk. I don't get rid of CMC. I don't get rid of CMC for that.
I don't know, actually.
There's not enough value. There's not enough value in it for me.
No.
There's not enough. but there's
I try
not-
and get something else. You're giving up. I think you don't give up your other wide receiver. Just CMC for those two, maybe.
Mm.
Okay, Thomas. Okay, Thomas.
No, again, normal name. I've
Cool.
heard that
Normal
one
name.
before.
Cool. Just making sure. Right. Thomas
No,
has been
all I'm
offered-
saying is we had the Pope on earlier. I'm pretty sure he said John Bishop, the comedian, asked a question earlier. And there was a bloke called Stand.
Come
I'm
on.
sure he was.
We're
But
supposed
no,
to be
it's
getting
good
through these.
questions. Stop getting
Thomas has been
distracted.
offered. Thomas has been offered Debo Samuel and Josh Jacobs for Kamara. Should he take it?
Yes, Kamara's
Yeah, that's a
only
good
been in the
trade.
end zone like once, hasn't he?
That's a good trade. I like that.
Andy has spoken.
That's not an Adam trade.
Right. Pascal has asked Keenan Allen, Brandon Ayuk, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery for his flex. Which one does he pick?
Ayuk.
Yeah, I'd say Ayuk.
I'm going to say Ayuk because I forgot the other players.
Excellent.
We've
Last
had
question.
95
Oh, we're
questions.
there,
All
we're
of
there.
These
Come
names
on.
are blended
We
into
got the
one.
last one. This is incredible.
Last question from Hammer Time.
That's a real
Austin-
name.
Foster Moreau or Darrell Henderson?
Darrell Henderson.
Despite him being all in on Foster Moreau for the whole show, he's changed his mind. We said Henderson was a definite sit, didn't we? So Foster Moreau, surely.
Yeah. No,
On
it's
this occasion.
Foster
Right.
Moreau.
I'm glad we got through that. That
That's
was
a lot
tough.
of questions.
Tough
It was
working.
tough. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Adam. Really appreciate you going through those questions.
We did get more questions, but some of them were for last night, so they've already been answered. So
Ask Johnny the.
That's okay. We definitely did not need any more questions.
Right. We haven't got a question this week from Byron.
No, because he's not
so
here.
we've survived those silly questions. But thanks for joining me, guys. Really appreciate it. Have we got anybody got any final words for Adam? Anyone want to slam him while he's still here?
No, but I was just about to say thanks for joining me on my fantasy show.
Well, you are the most consistent person on here, even though your advice is terrible. But thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for having us on.
People are coming back.
I'd like to
Thanks,
thank Adam.
Big Teasy.
I'd like to thank Adam for finally stop sending out utter bullshit every single week, almost like he's taking the piss with it. Like it's finally seems to have subsided.
Hey, he did send me a shit one this week.
Now other people are trading, he can't get involved. They're like, he's screwed himself over. Right. Thanks for joining, guys. Best of luck in everybody's fantasy this week. Hopefully we have got you to the playoffs and you only need one more win. Look forward to let us know if you have made it on our socials. Let us know if we helped. I think, Adam, you're back on Sunday with our glorious leader, Freddie, to go over the preview show. You'll have some awesome betting tips for us. But till next time, guys, thank you and